Rhino has a sprint speed even of 0.95. Saren has a sprint speed of 0.95. Even Frost has a sprint speed of 0.95. We'll concentrate on the Prime variant of Frost here because Rhino Prime and Saren Prime both got a sprint speed buff. Frost Prime, you know, it's like I want to say the original Prime because he was the first Prime you could actually get in the game. Never had a speed buff. There's just, it makes him the slowest frame, and the variant of him, which is the Prime one, still the slowest frame. I was asked the other day how come I could keep up with people who were running around with Lokis and Novas, and every time they would turn around I was already in front of them. Well, there's a reason for this. My Frost has a 1.49 sprint speed. That's because I'm running Armored Agility, Rush, and I forgot the name of the mod. Speed Drift, if I remember rightly. And that adds up to a 1.49 sprint speed, which I've had to sacrifice duration and strength to be able to do. But it made him so much more usable, and I'm not going to show his build because honestly, the build I run around with him all the time is just health, shields, armor, and sprint mods. I think I've got Streamline on there, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Streamline and stretch. And the other day I actually showed a picture of basically this part of the window with the health, shields, armor, sprint speed on there with a 1.88 sprint speed, which is just incredibly nuts, which belonged to Nova Prime. That's when I realised Nova's not actually the fastest character in the game, so if I was going to play with this mod, there was really only one person I could put it on. And well, that falls down to Loki Prime with a 1.96 sprint speed. Just the ability to run that quick is nuts. There's a lot of different places this will first be usable, and silly things like capture missions. It'll be great because you'll be able to get to what you're trying to capture, keep up with them, and pretty effectively take them out. Deception missions, same kind of thing. And that's pretty much it. Just basically, if you are a speedrunner who has to run to the objective, do it as quickly as possible and leave, 1.96 is going to be really useful. I use it for Frost because Frost is a ridiculously slow frame to kind of keep up with everybody else. Because I think a 1.96 sprint speed, well, it's just massively overkill. Even in something like a survival mission where you're about to run out of oxygen, sending somebody like a Loki who can go invisible is a hell of a good idea, especially if he's got a sprint speed of 1.96. But that's not the only plus side to this mod. Using it on other frames is also useful because Speed Drift doesn't just add 12% sprint speed, it also adds 15% casting speed, which, though by itself isn't really that much, it is still ridiculously useful for things like Mag, Trinity. It's like anybody who has a fairly long casting time on their abilities, it helps an insane amount. Of course, fitting it is going to be a massive problem, which is why I still kind of hope that a primed rush turns up, because hopefully that would have 55% sprint speed, which would make it so much better for Frost. Poor Frost Prime, no speed buff. Anyway, so the casting speed side of it is also ridiculously useful. I mean, even on Loki, it is still useful because his radiating disarm or radial disarm even? I'll get there eventually. His radial disarm is, yeah, well, it doesn't take that long to cast, but it still shortens that down. Even the switch, teleport, decoy, it's any ability it will shorten, but it's basically, I use this thing for the sprint speed more than anything else. And though it's not that hard to get this mod, because you have to do on the orokin moon base, you have to do the sprint test to actually get this. And though they're not really that hard, they can be a pain to get to spawn in, and the only way to get to the orokin moonbase is to have first done the second dream quest, because that unlocks the orokin moonbase part of Earth. Of course, that's all going to change with the Spectres of the Rail update anyway, because they're changing the solar rail, and rumour has it the moon's going to be its own place. God, more orokin moonbase missions would be so much fun. But going there, getting a hold of one of these mods can be a bit tedious because you've got to try and farm it, but they are actually ridiculously useful. The Sprint Drift, I keep forgetting the name of this mod, it's ridiculous. But Speed Drift is just one of those that is underlooked, underappreciated, but extremely useful.